A lot of people are asking me what Elura actually is, what it does, what it means, how it functions. You know, there's a lot of mystery around that. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break it down bit by bit and share exactly what it is, what it does, why it's here, so on and so forth. So Elura is a living system. It's a living field. It's a living ecosystem of lived experiences, energetic transmissions, field cohesiveness, field coherence that has over time has shaped and merged and has connected with me in order to bring it to the world. So basically it's a system. It's not coaching. It's not anything like that. Those are aspects of it, but it's actually a living system of embodiment that allows people to really track back to their source, to their original signal, and find their way back through the layers of conditioning and misalignment and outdated identities. So what I'm doing is I've created I've just created some bullet points here, and I'm just going to kind of share what those are. So it has the ability to diagnose where somebody's life actually stopped matching their core frequency, where people sort of drift off into conditioning and more of living kind of like the going through the motions, where there's no satisfaction, there's no curiosity, there's no joie de vivre, and things of that sort. It can track the distortion point and then work backwards. That's distortion point, and distortion means a static in the field that is causing, which is inhibiting the energy to be able to flow naturally. So it reads on multiple layers because it is a multidimensional system, and it's a multi-pronged system, which it's still going through stages of development, but basically it hits on the, it hits nervous system, it hits the energetic field, timeline structures. I use human design architecture, pattern behaviors, unconscious responses. There's all sorts of aspects to it. What I have found is that most practitioners, they actually just use surface. They just kind of get into what's just below the surface, and that's fine in the here and now, but it doesn't really address what's really happening, because that's just going to rinse, repeat. So yeah, it recalibrates the signal, so the person can operate from alignment again. And there's a process in how we get there, and there's protocols and practices that I use. So it's very, very in depth. It returns clarity, and it does it like it's fairly efficient. People know what they want. They've just never had the framework to really figure that out. It stabilizes nervous system and reduces or removes internal noise. It restores a person's decision-making power because what we're doing is we are returning coherence to the field. So the mind, body, and field are all working together in a very cohesive and coherent fashion. So Elura is built from lived experience. It's not built on theory. It's not built on borrowed whatever. It's built on real lived experience. Sessions are structured as field entry, distortion reading, pattern naming, identity anchoring, next steps. So I do have a shorter 30-40 minute version where we go in, take a look at at how the signal patterning is going and how it's being expressed, and basically what's going on, where the distortion is coming from, and how we can rework it. But in the deeper sessions, it's like a 3 hour, 2.5, 3 hour deep dive into your, get into your, like deep into your energetics, the structure of it. You can understand where the patterning is coming from and how to work with it, and the positioning of it, that sort of thing. Okay, so now getting more into the actual, more about the actual code itself and how it works. So the core problem is that people are constantly running outdated patterns, and these are conditioned patterns that we either picked up in this life, or that we picked up, that we inherited through generational energetics. And yes, it's actually a thing. So it's nothing's broken. It's just misaligned, meaning that there are aspects of your structure that just aren't being utilized, and that's or underutilized, and this is what's causing the distortion. So basically, we read, we design, and create the new timelines based on what is specifically encoded in the field. So we're not guessing at anything. I'm actually looking at what's actually already there, and how it relates to what you're already doing. So we're not making stuff up here. It's already encoded. I'm just looking at it and bringing it into the open so we can move through cleanly. So this is not a learned program or like a certification course that I took or anything. This is remembered technology that I have just tapped into over the course of my lifetime. More so in the last probably 15 years or so, there's been aspects of it that I have come across, and now it's actually working as a coherent system. So yeah, so I mean, basically, it's through a lineage, that I am a part of, and the last link in the lineage was my grandfather, and he was doing energy work, in the States in the 50s, like late 40s, or like 40s and 50s. He was actually a chiropractor, and he found, I mean, he wasn't the only person doing this. He was part of a movement, and there was others, but he was there right in the early days of doing this kind of work, like the specific work that he was doing with others. And so he was a chiropractor, and he found that they could actually do adjustments just by manipulating the field around the body, and not actually touching the person at all. So now his sensitivities were just off the charts, like his ability to move energy, and I'm talking very subtle energies, to be able to do these adjustments. So I thought that was, I never knew him. He died, 20 years before I was born, but just through people that I know who knew him, and just kind of, reading between the lines and stuff. So that's where that comes from. But this information it's not new per se. It's just hasn't been accessed in, I don't even know how long. I'm not gonna try and guess that, but it's stuff that I've pulled from cellular memory, and through lived experience. So there is an emerging structure. So it's not just about doing sessions and healing and all this kind of stuff. I mean, that's a part of it, because one of the things that I talk about is the overarching thing about, because it's about creation. And what we're doing is we're literally creating the life that we were meant to have. And for some of us, it's being a spiritual, having energetic remembrance, which is the case here, and which is where this is coming from. For some people, it's to be a great lawyer. For some people, it's to be a great father or great mother. Some people, it's to be a rock star. So, but it's how to, one of the things is how do we experience that in the highest expression possible in this life? How do we do that? So there's a plan. There's a code. And so I've taken different aspects of, like I said, of things that I've come across, things that I've learned, things that I've worked with, and I've put it together in a very comprehensive system, which allows this to, which is able to facilitate these transpirings. There's other things in the future that I'm going to add, like strength training is huge. And I know this because I strength train, and the positive impact that it's had on my signal has just been incredible. So it's about signal maintenance. It's about signal purification. It's about, and what I mean by, so a lot of people get confused on what I mean by signal. So what I mean is the actual continual communication in your nervous system. So not the physicality of the nervous system itself. And this is where a lot of people get caught up, but it's the actual signaling, the electrochemical messaging communication that happens in the body, the interoception. So the actual field at work, in motion, in real time. And the quality of that signaling, is it sharp, clean, and fast? Is it distorted? Are the signals not getting through because of belief patterns, or lack of minerals in the body? How well are the cells firing? Like, all these things are connected. So there's the energetic aspects first, then there's also the physical aspects, and within those there's the thoughts experiences, but also the well-being of the body, because the body is the container in which the signaling happens. But the reality is, it's the signaling of the body that creates the quality of the container of the signaling. So it's kind of a paradox, but it's the signaling and it's the energy that comes first. So, and a lot of people, this is a freaking core foundation of the Elura Code, is that it's energy first. So energy includes everything from the dream, the goals, the desires, the motivations, the why are you doing this, the thoughts, even the speech, the expression, the energetics of the body, and how it works in our autonomic nervous system, how the body processes, where does it get charge from? Simple: food and breath. And how is charge dispersed and moved? Through speech, thought, and movement, right? Thought, it starts as a thought, so I'm thinking about moving my hand, and now I'm moving my hand, right? How do people, and then we move into the manifesting aspect. Most people create through visualization, thought, etc. But a small percentage, like myself, manifest through speech. And then there's the integration aspect, is when we're bringing on these new timelines, or these new versions of ourselves, which are already existent in the body. It's just a question of moving through the distortion to allow them to take root. And there's a very ancient aspect of where this information is rooted. So it's not new. It's just, I have found a way to present it that it's a lot more open and flowing and functional than a lot of and this is just through lived experience. So I welcome you to the Elura Code. And if you are looking for sessions, please look in the description below to all the links. A lot of people are asking me what Elura actually is, what it does, what it means, how it functions. There's a lot of mystery around that. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to break it down bit by bit and share exactly what it is, what it does, why it's here, so on and so forth. There's also various modalities of energy work that I have put together that are very, very effective. They can be used together, broken down into their component parts, and used with other energetic activation protocols that I have also put together. It's totally customizable depending on the individual needs of the person that is receiving treatment.